Hello everyone, welcome to the Selective Dev. In this 5-part video series, we will be building an API gateway from scratch in Golang. And in this video, we will be seeing why do we need an API gateway, what is an API gateway, and implementing a basic reverse proxy server, and then tweaking it with YAML configuration. And remind you, I'm still learning. I'm no expert in this field. I'm still completing my bachelor's, so feel free to correct me in the comments. And let's get started. First, I will be covering why do we need an API gateway, and then we'll move forward to what is an API gateway and implement a basic reverse proxy in this first part and tweak it with YAML configuration. So managing all these features, authentication and authorization, rate limiting, logging and monitoring for each microservice will be very hectic and repetitive. So it's simply here I have only drawn 3 microservices, but in the production environment there can be many more. So it's simply not practical to write all these functionalities for each microservice. So we have an API gateway. When client makes a request, it does not directly go to the particular microservice. It goes through this layer called API gateway. Now, seeing why do we need it, we can move on to what is it. So it has a reverse proxy. So basically, this very function hides the backend's actual address from the client. So reverse proxy decides where would the request go to the microservice one or the second microservice or so on. So this is the work of the reverse proxy. Moving on to authentication and authorization. You all must be aware of this, so I won't go very deep into it. So yeah, this is basically the 5 part. In first part, we will be covering reverse proxy and then authentication and authorization and so on. Now we can dive into some coding. We can now make a directory called API gateway, cd into it. We should now initialize our Go module. So Go module init and github.com. This is the standard practice, so that's why I'm following this. And odm v plus 10 API gateway. So as you can see, our module is now initialized and we are into that. As you can see, there is no other file. We should now create a dummy backend. We will be naming this folder as backend1 actually. And now we should create a file backend1.go. So we will be using package main. We'll be running it as an executable, so that's why we'll be having this package main, because after some time we'll also have that package function name. So yeah, function names we can have now. So we will be needing a router. We can get it from http module http dot new servers. So this provides us with a multiplexer. we'll be using it. And now we can declare our server http dot serve http dot server. When we see we have these address, we have this properties address, which is a string. This is basically the port where we will be running our server. This is the port where we'll be running our server. Handler handler is the router. Uh, the router we created just above this line. This is basically what we need to know as of now. So creating address we can have port 8080. We'll be running this on port 8080. And handler we have handler called router. So now we can run server dot listen and serve. This returns an error. So if error is not equal to nil, we will be just shutting down the whole process. Log.return errors starting the server. Now we need to also have a path where we will be setting, we will be having this router dot handle func. So we will be providing a path pattern func a handler. So path will be our root. Whenever we hit root on 8080, let's say 8081, I'll tell you after some time why I did it. And we must create a function right here func hello. Let's just say hello. So it will take two arguments, the HTTP response writer and request object, the HTTP request. So we can now send some data from the backend so that we can actually test for ourselves if that backend is actually working or not. W dot header, we can add a header. We can actually write header. This is the backend one. And have it true. HTTP status okay. Uh, that we can write add header. Wait a second, there's something wrong in it. So yeah, we can add it. So basically we can add backend one comma true. And now we can dot write in the header. So basically we will be writing a byte. We will be sending this response whenever client hits this path. So this will be hello from the backend one. Now we can use this function in this hello. So this is basically our dummy backend. Now we will be creating a basic reverse proxy. Let me show you that too. So yeah, now going into the root directory, we will be creating a file called gateway, gateway.go. It also it will also have a package main. It too will run as a separate service. Now to use the reverse proxy, we have a method golang reverse proxy. It's called HTTP util. It's in the module HTTP util, as you can see. HTTP util reverse proxy. So we can also visit the website. So this is how it works. So we can create a function to return us a new proxy for a URL. Found new proxy, which will take a target URL of type string and return us a HTTP util dot reverse proxy. It will return us this. So yeah, let's make it. So to so this is the function HTTP util dot new single host reverse proxy. Uh, when we see it expects us to provide a target URL, as you can see, that's target, and it should be of type URL object, URL.url. So we now need to pass it target URL dot parse. We need to pass our string target URL. It also returns an error, and if error is not equal to nil, returns nil. So now we can use this target to return us a new proxy. It will return a proxy, and now we can return our new proxy from here. So this is how we return a new proxy for this target URL. And after that, when we create our main function and we have a server, let's create this another server here for our gateway. http.server address, let's just say it's port 8080. So that's why I changed 8080 to 8081 previously, and our handler will be this proxy. And where do we get this proxy from? We'll get it from here, proxy new proxy, and let's just say backend URL http localhost 8081. So we can put it in here, backend URL. It will return us a new proxy, and that proxy we can use it here. Now, as you can see, there's no error. And now we should run http, server dot listen and serve. If error not equal to nil, log dot fatal, error starting the gateway. So this is basically completed. This is the basic reverse proxy. Now we need to test it. First, we need to run this curl hi http localhost 8081. Oh, sorry, we need to first run the backend. Go run backend one.go. Now we can curl it. Curl hi. We can see that we are getting this backend one two. The header we added, and this is hello from backend one. So this is basically pretty similar stuff as we are used to. So let's clear this and change directory. We need to run our gateway 2 now. Downloads API gateway. Now go run gateway.go. After running gateway.go, whenever we now so we are running this. Whenever we curl to our gateway now, which is running on port 8080, we can now see hello from backend one. Even if we are querying our localhost 8080, we can see backend went to. This is because this gateway, all it does is it forwards all its requests to the first backend. So yeah, called this is basically what a reverse proxy does. It forwards its requests to a certain backend. Here we have hard coded this value. In the production environment, we'll be having multiple backends, and we will use path matching. The function, the the microservice which matches the path will have the request sent to it. So yeah, now we can move on to the YAML configuration so that we need not hard code this backend value, and then I can demonstrate running multiple backends, and from that we can see path matching. We can now move on to the second part of the video, which is the YAML configuration. Let's create config.yaml. Let's just say our port will be 8080, and we can have multiple services running. First, we can have uh, user service. Then we can have the route pattern slash users, and then we can have what else can we add to it? Yeah, the actual service where the service is running, the URL. This will be, let's just say, http low http localhost 8081, And same we can have with, let's just say, a product service, and route pattern of it, we can say slash products, and URL will be HTTP localhost 8082. We no, we haven't yet made this. We will be making it after we complete this. So yeah, this is basically our dummy config. So let's go into gateway.go. We'll be removing all this boilerplate code. It's not boilerplate, but it's not relevant now. So we need to have a struct to store all these config values. So first we'll have type config, which will be a struct. It will hold the port number which will be a string, and it will have YAML called port. And then we can have the services, and services is of type uh, service, and its YAML is services. We need to create this service type uh, service. It's a struct, and what it will have a name which will be a string, uh, YAML name of the service. What does it say? Oh, sorry, I did not. So yeah, and it will have a route pattern which will be route pattern as we mentioned in the config, and it will also have the URL to the backend, which will also be a string YAML, sorry, YAML, which will be URL. And after that, we will be adding two more fields. First will be the parsed URL. It will be a type of URL.url, and then we will be having a type proxy, which will be uh, HTTP util dot new reverse proxy. So yeah, so this is basically all stuff. Now we can create a function to load all these. We can to load this. We need to have a YAML parser installed. YAML parser Golang. So we can have this installed. I guess V3 is the latest one. So yeah, we can install this YAML parser. Control C. Let's wait for it to install. As you can see, it's installed. So we need to quit this one and then one gateway audio. So let's create a function to load the config. Load config. So this will be data and os.read file config.yaml. It also returns an error, and if error not equal to nil, log.fatal uh, error loading the config. So yeah, and now we need to pass this data, and let's create a var cfg config of type config, and we will be also returning this exact config. We'll be returning this config. So let's pass this YAML dot parse YAML dot, is it the new encoder or it's new Marshall? So yeah, it's Marshall function, YAML dot Marshall. We need to pass this data into it and this CSG. So it calls for an interface. Why can't we pass config directly into it? Too many arguments in call to YAML data have buffer want interface. Let's just see what's the function definition. So it's oh sorry, it's unmarshal YAML dot unmarshal. So yeah, this is the function unmarshal. We need to pass the data and then we can pass the CFG. So yeah, then we can return the CFG. So as you can see, we have created this. What it will do is this will load the config in this variable and return as this variable config. So in the main function, we can call this CSV new config, sorry, load config. We can delete all this crap. Now we need to add all these functionalities on top of the config.